awareness is everything to do with this trip. I joined an organisation called eXXpedition. About a year ago, they announced something that was of a completely different scale, and they announced a round-the-world trip. The purpose of that sailing trip is to raise awareness and find solutions about the plastic issues in the oceans. The reason that route was chosen is because it's going to go through 4 of the 5 gyres that basically collect a lot of the plastics. And by doing a round-the-world trip that takes 2 years, the boat will be able to collect samples using exactly the same protocols. I joined the boat when it had already crossed the Atlantic, and I joined the boat in Antigua and crossed the Caribbean. So we stopped in Bonaire, which is one of the Dutch Caribbean, and then finally stopped in Aruba. If you put the sailing, which I've loved for many years, when you put the idea that women can achieve some incredible things, and sometimes we don't hear enough about that, and put that together with where we are in terms of the environment and the challenges we face, eXXpedition can raise awareness and then shift perceptions. Sailing also allows us to go through remote areas of the globe, middle of the ocean, close to the coast, anywhere we need to go. And the boat itself is actually equipped with all we need to do the science and the research. The premise to the science is very much that up to very recently, we assumed that the plastic was floating on top of the ocean. The plastic that actually floats is a small proportion of the plastic that's in the ocean. So that's what eXXpedition set out to validate. Let's get some data that is captured on the global level, and let's use that data to influence industries, influence policymakers. We do 3 different things on board collecting the water on the surface. A tool that looks like a manta ray. We have very little data in the water column, the Niskin bottle, and it is literally thrown from the side of the boat at a depth of 25 meters, and that then section of water is brought back up a sediment collector. So it's literally a great big hand that collects what's at the bottom of the water. There is a process of pretty much filtering through, taking all the organic matter out and put it back in the sea, and ending up with just the plastic through sieving through smaller and smaller and smaller mesh. And then with tweezers, you actually literally take them out. And when you pull your first sample and you actually see a bit of plastic, it just becomes so. It tells you such a different story. So that for me was the shocking part. They actually have landfills that are right next to the sea, next to the mangrove, that one straight into the sea, and they just pile everything high. And that makes you think about where the problems are, and even if every citizen of Antigua does the right thing and doesn't throw rubbish in the gutter, it's still ending up there. We try to also influence the local population. So that's some of us meeting with the Prime Minister of Aruba. But we also engage with the community, engage with the schools. There's 10 volunteers per leg. There's 30 legs in total, so I was like 4. Put 10 people who are never met each other, completely different but also complementary to each other. So you have different nationalities, different skills, different interests, different ages. They all become ambassadors to the eXXpedition cause. What's next for eXXpedition? Well, the research will carry on. We'll capture the data. It will then need to go through full review and peer review and scientific protocol. So it will be a while before we do get the results. So we'll have to wait until that data gets collected, and once it's there, it will then be used by eXXpedition to influence people and to keep the message going, and the policymakers. But in the meantime, we're not going to wait. So every single ambassador is able to take what they've learned and who they are and who they can influence, and try to spread the message.